Harry frickin' Potter, man. A few years ago, me and my little brother, who I believe was 12 at the time, were watching a lot of movies, classics that he would need in order to survive in this pop culture world, like Star Wars.
Hello there.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
And, of course, at this time, for me at least, I've only seen these films maybe once before during their release. This watch session with my brother was the first time I was able to enjoy and absorb the entire series without having to wait years between each release. While we were watching Sorcerer's Stone, we gave into its childlike wonder, especially for the actual child watching it with me. The bright colors and the whimsical nature of the story and John Williams' score gave this film an easily identifiable tone. Warm, positive, magical.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
We loved it, and we knew we were going to watch each one and watch this cast grow up and get more into adventures. But once we started the next film, something became increasingly apparent.
Yo, this one's dark. Wow, this one's hella dark. What's going on? I can barely see, it's so dark.
By now, we've figured out a trend here. The visual tone of each entry is getting darker and darker as the cast, story, and filmmaking becomes more mature. But it wasn't by coincidence. There's a science to it. So, let's just jump right into it. There are two fundamentals that can generate a tone visually in a film medium: camera movements and colors. To tie that into the Harry Potter films, let's get a few facts out of the way first.
Spectacular.
A tone of a film is what emotion the film makes the audience feel. Does it make the audience feel happy, adventurous, like you can take on anything? Or do they make you feel depressed, sad, and just
So angry. All the time.
The people who are generally in control of tone are the writer, which in this case is the adapter/screenwriter, since these films were adapted from the books, the cast, the director of photography, and the director. Since the cast and the screenwriter Steve Knowles have worked on each film, the only ones that have changed out were the directors and the DPs. Chris Columbus directed the first two films, while John Seale DP'd Sorcerer's Stone, and Roger Pratt DP'd Chamber of Secrets. Alfonso Cuarón directed Prisoner of Azkaban, while Michael Saracen DP'd it. Mike Newell directed Goblet of Fire, while Roger Pratt returned to DP. And then from Order of the Phoenix to Deathly Hallows Part 2, David Yates directed. Columbus and Seale definitely had a concrete language with camera movements in Sorcerer's Stone. Close-ups, static shots, short-angle lenses. This gave a sense of simplicity but also security, which were other emotions the film represented, especially being this had to be the lightest in tone, being the first film in the series. Chamber of Secrets was similar even with Pratt DPing at this time. However, Cuarón came from indie filmworks, so his style along with Saracen made a new language. Wide-angle lenses, even on close-ups with the camera not on sticks, everything was handheld. This added a sense of unease, and it was a total change from the first two films stylistically. Newell and Pratt adopted the handheld wide-angle lens aesthetic, and that even stayed past with David Yates. But that's not all that it takes to create a convincing tone. At the turn of the century, filmmakers were thrusted into the digital age, converting from film as the medium across motion is captured to a digital sensor. In fact, the Harry Potter saga was right there at the beginning of digital. Something to keep in mind, whenever you are filming something on film, it's already in a physical state, so when you're trying to color grade it or color correct it, you usually don't have a lot of wiggle room. Whatever you film is pretty much what you get. Remember this information.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Taking a closer look into Cuarón and Saracen's Prisoner of Azkaban, something felt aesthetically different about it. It's the first film in the series that has a constant cool color temperature across the entire runtime. With people shooting on film, that's really not easy to do. That's because Columbus and Seal's Sorcerer's Stone and Columbus and Pratt's Chamber of Secrets was filmed on film and had no post-processing. They were just printed onto 35mm film. Cuarón's and Saracen's Prisoners of Azkaban was as well shot on film, but it was the first Harry Potter film with digital post-processing and then printed on film. That's why these films are colored differently. It's the difference between film and digital. Speaking of color, the main colors that are represented in the films are arguably red, green, black, white, and blue. Usually when you see red on a film screen, the emotions that can spring from it are passion, love, power. Green can mean greed, evil, cunning. Black can mean death, fear, mystery. White, protection, purity, balance. Blue, confidence, cold, depression. How can we fit these colors into Harry Potter?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know?
Well, there are 4 main houses in Hogwarts, but the main 2 in the story that has the most screen time is House Gryffindor and House Slytherin. Each house has their own pride colors. Gryffindor has mainly red, Slytherin has mainly green. Gryffindors are usually passionate, while Slytherins are mainly cunning. Black can be seen on the colors of literally any character that's evil. White can be clearly seen when Harry dies, talking to Dumbledore at the train station as a sense of peace, and also in the purest spell any wizard can muster from a wand.
Expecto Patronum!
Oh wow, look at all that white!
Blue can be seen everywhere in the films, but you can see more the further along you are in the series. Again, blue can represent confidence, coldness, or a general depression across the characters on screen. If a general color on the screen with the characters inhabiting that screen, then that emotion associated with that color is felt across all those characters. And I don't think there is a better showcase of color in the entire Harry Potter series than in this sequence.
Have it your way.
This sequence shows off all of the colors. Red passion from Harry's Expelliarmus. Voldemort's green and evil Avada Kedavra. The black fear-inducing clothes on Voldemort and the Death Eaters. The white balance in the middle of the 2 opposite spells. And the blue confident but depressing shroud arcing around the 2 wizards. This scene has everything. Taking all of these elements into account, the different people helming the aesthetic ship, the camera movements, the editing technology, and the meaning of colors within the world, the visual tone across the Harry Potter films has gradually changed across each film, purposely and effectively. Effective enough to make a grown man cry after watching a protector pass away. Get fuming mad when happiness gets censored. Or get on his 2 feet and cheer when the boy who lived caught his first snitch. Tone made a man in his 20s and a child of 12 believe in a world of magic.